Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where professionals and entrepreneurs, business owners publish to grow their businesses and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of business spotlights on remarkable people, places, and things from across the country and in your town. Joining me on this segment from Glendale, California is Dr. Dennis Neder. He's the CEO and co-founder of Rankipedia.com. Dr. Dennis, welcome to the program.
Mark, thanks a lot for having me. But before we start, I've got to give a shout out to your sponsor because, people don't know what's involved in producing a book. I've got a publishing company as well as a company we'll be talking about today. And as I tell authors, okay, you finished your book. That's great. 5% is done. Now you've got all the rest to go. And having a partner like them to get you through that next step is really, really important. So good on them.
Absolutely. I certainly appreciate that. And the power of authorship and building a business, and that is starting to get more understood. So tell us about Rankipedia.com and what it's about and who it serves.
Tell you about it? Well, just try and stop me. Rankipedia.com is a big data, artificially intelligent ranking matching engine that can't be gamed. Now, let me take a quick step back. The promise of the internet was always the information you needed, the way you needed it, right at your fingertips. And what a great idea. What a great boon for us as a culture, right? And that was so perfect until the marketers got in the way. Now we have things that are shoved at us. It has no bearing in what you need or what you want. It's what they want you to have. Well, Rankipedia does away with all that. It's designed so you can go there and tell it what your priorities are, what you're looking for, and it will re-rank all the professionals in your area based on your requests, very specifically, very clearly. You can't buy your way to the top. You can't buy your way to advertising or anything else on Rankipedia. It's very, very organic to every single unique search and all AI driven.
So it sounds like it was the original promise of the internet search engines. And this sounds like an alternative, perhaps an alternative search engine to use if you want marketing free results.
That is exactly what it is. People pretty much all hate Yelp and Google because for the same reason. You go there, you can't rely on the ratings. You can't, you have no idea who they are. A lot of those things are bots, by the way. Yelp won a lawsuit 4 years ago where they were being sued because they were taking down the good ratings of people who didn't subscribe and leaving up the bad, taking down the bad ratings of the ones who did. Well, Yelp won. They could do that. That's part of their business model. We have none of that. Give a great example of the way Rankipedia works. Let's say you're looking for a dentist. I like to use that as an example. So you're looking for a dentist that takes your insurance, that is highly rated, not just by consumers, but by other doctors. That'd be kind of nice, where you can actually see the work and see why the various people think is good or bad and get comments on it. Maybe you want to make sure that they have appointments on Tuesdays. That's your big day. And maybe you're a big military supporter. You want to make sure they have military background. You can ask all kinds of things of Rankipedia, and it will re-rank based on your specific requests. Now, what's cool about that is for professionals, think about how very specifically you target your market. One of the problems with dentistry, people are not aware of this. The average dentist spends $4,500 per month per new patient because they have to scattergun their marketing. So they're going after a 20-mile radius or whatever, and they're just throwing it out to everybody. What if they could go after just the clientele that really fits their big beats, and they could own 80, 90% of the market that way, being very clearly and specific to what the consumer needs.
Wow. Can you give us an example of how that could work using that dentist example? Because that sounds really appealing. Like, how would they use Rankipedia to reach the people they want without marketing, so to speak, and getting the user that's looking for that dentist the accurate results?
Mark, what a great question. Okay, so here, let's take the dentist as an example. So what a dentist will do is they'll put out their marketing message, and they have to be very concise. They really can't explain that they do this and they do that, or they don't do this or whatever. So, and keeping in mind how expensive it is to market, when somebody calls up and says, hey, can the dentist do this? Well, yeah, come on in and get and we'll talk about it. They want to get you in the door because once you're there, how are you going to say no, right? So, but that really is not in the best benefit of the dentist by any stretch, because maybe he's being asked to do something he's not good at. So he's going to get bad ratings. On this way, what we're talking about is having the artificial intelligence match them automatically with clients who want what they do the way they do it. They can't, like I said, you can't buy your way to the top. What you can only do to Rankipedia is tell your story. What makes you great? What's your background? Things that you never see anywhere else. What's your personality? How do you deal with your patients? Some people, for example, would want to go out and spend as little as they can for dental work. They just want the maintenance level. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. Rankipedia understands that kind of value differently than somebody who wants to pay the top price for the absolute best work. And they get different kinds of markets. The AI automatically separates those markets for you, all without anything being done on your part.
So it sounds to me with that dentist example, it sounds like the mission for that dentist would be to get on Rankipedia, and I'd imagine there's some sort of a submission process and completing as complete a profile as possible in order to get the matching as much as possible. Am I on the right track?
You're exactly on the right track. We already have 98% of all the dentists in the country, in the US, already on the system. So all you have to really do is go and claim the profile that's there. Then you can begin building it out. We're actually finishing a wizard now to actually help that with that. But we rank literally everything. So consider this. It's not just about ranking the services. That's important. But what about also the products that are being used? What if you're using certain kinds of labs for, say, creating crowns or implants or whatever? We will know over time which ones are the best. We can actually begin recommending those too. You can see, well, look, this dentist uses this kind of technology. And for my case, that's really what I need. That's the best. As opposed to simply going in there kind of as a crapshoot and just guessing to what you get and hoping it's the best answer. This way it fits very clearly, very specifically. And here's what's great for professionals. Think about this. You're going after a market you're already fantastic at. You're going to get great ratings.
So it sounds like you've already pre-populated like all the general listings across the country to really get the database as full as you can with the information that's already out there. And then you're inviting these business owners to log in and complete their profile and expand upon it.
That's exactly it. Keep in mind, we're ranking and rating everybody as it is. So you really want to be on Rankipedia. By the way, I should tell you this. Here's the cool thing about it. It's free. If you're a consumer, it's free to use. If you're a professional, it's free to join and free to use. Now, if you want to expand up and maybe get more space and use other things, there are additional paid services. Keep in mind that paying for services does not increase your ranking. It really is very organic. But what it does, it gives you the ability to expand your market and get ranked and rated into other areas so people can see it. So right now, we're actually focusing on 4 primary industries: dentistry, obviously, and the myriad aspects of dentistry, specialties, cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery, and chiropractic. We're also getting ready to add dermatology. But just because we're in the medical space, we're actually planning to expand very quickly into pets and animals, legal, auto care, supermarkets, colleges. How cool would it be to be able to rate your politicians by how closely they fit your beliefs and models? Another area we'll be into.
Yeah, fascinating. So the elephant in the room now, as you followed the other models of other search engines, they went into the advertising in order to monetize. So you have a lot of marketing and advertising on there. And this platform here, Rankipedia, there's no advertising now. You mentioned services. Is that like the idea of helping people improve their profiles as a way to monetize it, or what's the end goal for Rankipedia? What are you looking for?
How do we make money?
Yeah, exactly. How do you sustain and stay in business?
Here's how we do this. It's really cool. Again, to go in and have your first what we call them professional areas, like healthcare, dentistry, or law, defense, criminal, or whatever. So it's free, and you get a certain amount of space there to do what you want. Now, let's say you're a dentist doing general practice, but you also say do orthodontia, or maybe you have somebody in your office that does that, or maybe you also do oral surgery or endodontia or whatever. You can actually then pay a small amount of money each month for those additional areas. So as you use more space, you can then buy the space you need effectively. Plus, we're really visually focused. So things like videos, auditory components, you can put these up as your portfolio. You can see befores and afters. We're also working on a customer journey, so you can see what the customer went through. When your patient comes in, what did they go through piece by piece to get to the results they got? So you can see it right there. And the doctor, not only the doctor who did it, but other doctors, competitors can go in there and look at it too and rate, which is really odd. Who wants to invite their competitors? See, in Rankipedia, it's a good thing because those people can help rate your work and explain why what you've done is a good thing. You want to invite them, and it's very helpful.
That's very interesting. As I hear this in my mind, it's being described as sort of a hybrid between the search engine with organic results and a directory where, in essence, the businesses can enhance their presence, although not necessarily increase their rankings. But just when people arrive there, they're able to enhance their profiles and their presentations.
Right, you are, Mark. Consider this. I mean, the problem with things like, again, Yelp or listing, what we call listing sites, is they don't help you much. Yelp was originally based on the restaurant model. Well, how does that apply to a dentist? How does that apply to, say an attorney, or a gardener or whatever? It doesn't really apply very well. They've had to just make the model work. What we've done is we custom craft our areas. We actually have a very large data set that manages this, and it's unique to the industry. So the things, for an example, one example my partner likes to use is how we do accolades. Every doctor you see has the American, Association of Dentists plaque on their wall. It doesn't say that they're really a great dentist. All it does is say they paid the $1,500 a month to get the plaque. But people don't know that. But when you look at Rankipedia, you can actually see that. It explains what those accolades mean, where they are. Why do they take certain continuing education courses? Why do they go to certain schools? And why are those beneficial? How does it affect your care? You can learn that right off the bat. Those things you can't possibly get from another kind of site on the internet. It's a very different model.
Very interesting. Dr. Dennis, tell us a little bit about your inspiration. What brought you here to Rankipedia? Give me a little bit of your background and how you got started and what inspired you to co-found Rankipedia.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate you asking the question. I've got kind of a weird, varied background. I've got a strong background in media, as you and I have briefly touched on. I'm a best-selling author. I've written over 20 books. I've got background, of course, in technology and in publishing, music, and on and on. So I was approached actually by my business partner, Dr. Shervin Irfani, out of San Diego, California. He had a basic idea about how to do this kind of ranking and rating. He was actually the founder of a product called the Top 3, where they were rating the top 3 dentists, plastic surgeons, whatever, in their area. But we realized instantly it wasn't going to go far enough. And he actually sold that business, and it, he sold it at a profit, which is kind of cool. So when he approached me, and explained the idea, it just snapped. I saw it right off the bat. This is exactly what the internet has always needed, is some way not to be a traffic cop, but to be somebody to carry the data forward so that you get what you want the way you need it, and to ensure ongoing it's always going to be correct. And those things just popped in my mind. I've been working on software now for, dare I say, over 40 years. And I've written just pretty much everything you can imagine in just about every language you can imagine. So when I saw the data needs here and saw what we really wanted to accomplish, it was a no-brainer. Yeah, this has got to be out there.
Absolutely terrific and really fascinating, this Rankipedia. Dr. Dennis, for our listeners out there that definitely can see the vision and want to get on Rankipedia, learn more, get their business on there ranked up and connect with you. Tell us what they should do. What's their next step? How do they find you, connect with you, and what should they do for their first step to connect?
The first step is go to rankipedia.com and type in a search. What's kind of cool is our engine is also artificial intelligence. So good example, let's say you put in the word migraine. It understands that migraines can be caused by many different factors, not just, your children. I don't know your kids, but also things like, you'll have solutions about, say chiropractic, TMJ therapy, other kinds of things that cause migraines. It understands those things. So try it out. When you're ready, you can, and by the way, you can use Rankipedia without being a member. It's not, you don't have to do that. But if you want to be there to rank and rate and to comment and to get all the benefits, plus there's things we haven't talked about yet in terms of some really cool benefits there, create an account. It's free. You can just go on there and register your account, and you have access to a lot of things on Rankipedia. It's a very, very large list of opportunities there. If you are a professional, do the same thing. And then again, you get to claim your profile or create a new one if it's not there, all free. Then when you're ready, when you look and see what it can do for you, you want more, subscribe. Easy.
Fantastic. I really appreciate your insight on Rankipedia and sharing your information with my audience today. Dr. Dennis, thank you so much for taking the time, and I wish you continued success for you, for Rankipedia, and for all of your users and clients.
Well, Mark, I appreciate it. By the way, thank you too, by the way, for doing what you're doing, getting this information out there. It's getting more and more difficult, as you know, to get these really leading edge kinds of concepts out. And what you're doing is it's changing the market. That's really exciting.
It's my pleasure, and I appreciate you sharing. My audience appreciates it as well. So thank you. This segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where entrepreneurs, professionals, and business owners publish to grow their businesses and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. Thanks for joining me. I'm Mark Imperial. Take care.